Hello, and welcome to another episode of No Laughing Matter with me, Dom.
And me, Jack. Hello to everyone out there.
That's the worst intro I've ever done, as I nearly forgot what my own name was. The
You know,
pressure got to me, the light of this room. It was all intense.
I mean, I've got to say, it's a bit too much for the scope of this episode, but I do actually have a different name depending on whether I'm at work or not at work. And when I'm at work, I'm Jonathan, and when I'm not at work, I'm Jack. But to have to explain that all over again, it's going to be it's going to be an absolute odyssey to go through all that. So I think I'll save it for the next one.
Awesome. Yep, we're going to open today with some. What we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk a little bit about our movie banter.
And like a bit of movie banter.
With some talk on Iron Man. And possibly the wider Marvel universe, if you're lucky.
Yeah, and we won't specify which Iron Man because we don't exclude anyone. So, if you're listening, thinking, you know what, Iron Man 1 was okay, but Iron Man 2 was shit. Well, that's fine. Just keep with us. You know, we'll accommodate everyone here.
But to start with, I wanted to run by some things that I was reading. You know, I mean, I may not look like the most cultured man in the world.
You look like a tramp.
But you know what? This tramp reads a lot of free newspapers.
Wow, as opposed to all the other tramps who have subscriptions to the Daily Telegraph.
And I'm looking at some stories recently that I did just want to quickly share with you and get your thoughts and feelings on. I mean, we're not going to talk about the fact that there was a gunfire at the Cannes Film Festival now.
That is actually news to me, and I would like to hear more. But then I should probably listen to another podcast if I want to find out more about that.
That would be silly. We're not going to talk about the fact that what's his name?
Well, let's not mention it.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the fact David Beckham is retiring from football. But what we are going to talk about is a little piglet who thinks that she is a lamb.
Well, I saw this film. It was like he went to the big city, and talked to the cows, and it was Babe. Yeah, it's just a film. You're just talking about Babe.
No, I'm not. Do you know what? I wish I was.
I wish you were.
But I'm not. I'm not talking about Babe. What I'm actually talking about is Eagle. Is it Eagle?
Eagle.
Eagle.
Iggle.
Iggle. Iggle.
Oh, because the next word is Piggle. Yep. Iggle Piggle.
Ah, her full name is Eagle. I thought. Well, forgive me.
What were you thinking? Were you thinking like she had like a surname a Christian name? So this kind of comes from the line, the Piggle family.
She was christened Eagle.
My name is Eagle, son of Igor.
IP is her initials.
IP, yeah.
Yeah.
Iggle Piggle, or as Snoop Dogg or Snoop Lion would say, Izzle Pizzle.
Izzle Pizzle.
For the street fans.
Eagle Piggle the piglet is suffering from identity crisis. I mean, that in itself is a headline that you expect to find.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
In local papers. I mean, have you ever suffered from an identity crisis yourself?
As I mentioned at the top of the show, yes, I have two different names.
We
opened with an identity crisis.
I also struggled to remember my own name. So actually, this is a story that's quite close to both of our hearts.
I'm actually looking at the first line there. Iggle Piggle the piglet is suffering from an identity crisis. I'm trying to figure out which word I'd think to myself, you know what? No, say no more, I'm hooked.
Well, if you weren't hooked... It goes on.
I think it would be suffering. If you said to me, Iggle Piggle the piglet is suffering.
Yeah.
That'd be my £2 a month donation right there.
What?
But tell me more.
So, she's pretending to be a lamb after being picked on by her older brothers and sisters.
Boom. There it is. It kind of, it brings youth to these old bones to think, you know what, somewhere in this free paper, there was a reporter sat there at a desk thinking, I need a story. I need something to make the fans go wild.
Well, post-Leveson inquiry.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly.
I want to know how he got hold of this information, because I don't know if Iggle Piggle's privacy is being respected.
I'm not even sure that's a photo of Iggle Piggle.
Ooh, but I mean, I think.
Can you not see the faint photo stock watermark?
I mean, I'm not sure whether that was taken with Iggle Piggle's consent or whether that was taken from about a mile away by a pervy French photographer.
I noticed Iggle Piggle's not wearing a top.
No,
so you'll see it in the French version of Closer. So she's been picked. All right, okay.
Okay, so as you touched on, the baby porkers, which I think's a little offensive. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
if she's never been in the press before, Iggle Piggle, I mean, my favourite one was when Justin Bieber was in the UK and he had that run-in with the press, but that's too close to real news for us to talk
Oh,
about.
yeah, of course.
But my favourite thing about that was when he was called Pop Scrotum in a leading a leading British paper. I won't say which one. Don't want to endorse behaviour like
Other
that.
papers are available.
But I did wet myself considerably. Pop
So
Scrotum.
it wasn't
Justin
a quote,
Bieber.
it was what they refer to him. Pop
Yeah.
Scrotum
So-
Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Can I just say, other terrible pop stars are available?
Yeah. So the baby porker's story is a strange twist on the plot of the Hollywood film Babe.
I called it.
Didn't
I call it?
Which sees a hog become a sheepdog. I've never seen Babe. I never want to.
You've never seen Babe?
No, I don't care.
You ain't seen Babe?
Not really bothered.
Can I just interjection?
yeah.
Right, okay. A hog. Is a hog different to a pig?
I think hedgehog. If you say hog to me,
What? No. No, a hedgehog's different. What?
I don't know. For some reason, when I read that, I think hedgehog. The hog became a sheepdog.
You think? Okay, all right.
Why I've never seen Babe? It's too confusing for me.
First of all, you can't call a pig a porker. It's a piglet as well. It doesn't know it's going to grow up to be a delicious snack. So,
okay.
well, it is, isn't it? What's going to happen with
It's
this?
going to be lamb chops. Though.
Basically, there's a photo there of a pig and a lamb. That's what I'm having for tea tomorrow. Basically, one
Right.
stuffed with the other.
Okay.
I'll leave you to guess which is which.
In case, in this case, because there have been other cases of piglets identity
Well, the
having
files go
identity
on.
crisis. Yeah. In this case, the piglet was bullied by her siblings, who prevented her from feeding from her mother's milk. I mean,
That's in my mind. I'm putting this picture together, and it is genuinely heartbreaking. I'm not even sure if we should joke about this.
well, okay, let's just read it straight
Okay.
faced. Iggle, who is 10 weeks old.
With first name terms now.
Yeah.
So you were right. Iggle is her first name. Iggle Piggle is her full name. Go on.
Was in danger of dying. I don't know why I can't say that without giggling. I'll try again. Iggle, who was 10 weeks old, was in danger of dying until she was moved into a field full of sheep. No, I don't. I mean, to me, that doesn't sound like. I feel like they saw the piglet dying and threw it into another field.
I really, really hope there's some kind of appropriate music playing
We
now.
We need some sad Hulk music.
You do, like,
across this.
kind of your song in the background.
Yeah.
Thrown into another field.
I mean, that's what I'm imagining. But we have a quote coming up.
Okay.
She was the smallest of the litter of 9, and she was bullied by the rest and deprived of her mother's milk, said calf farm owner
Do you want to try that one again?
Gwen Evans.
Said Cantref Farm owner.
Oh, okay. What's Cantref?
Cantref. It sounds like a place in Wales.
Okay.
Can I give that line the emotion it deserves?
Okay. Can I give it the accent it deserves?
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to go first, or
Okay.
shall I?
She was the smallest of the litter of 9 that was being bullied. Knuckle biting moment. By the rest and deprived of her mother's milk, said Cantref Farm owner Gwen Evans. Oh no, it's a female. She was the smart.
I got it. She was the smallest of the litter of 9 and was being bullied by the rest and deprived of her mother's milk.
That was awful.
Why? It wasn't that bad.
When my wife does a Welsh accent, it sounds Indian. I would rather listen to that than whatever just came.
She was the smallest of the litter of 9. And
Irish?
now I'm worried too much about it, yeah. It can go, we'll let it out.
Accents. We
What?
let's assume they're just Queen's English.
Okay. She was the smallest of the litter of
Oh
9
my god.
and was being bullied by the rest and deprived of her mother's milk, said Cantref farm owner. Anyway, skip it, it's done. She would have died if I'd not decided to bottle feed her with the lambs. Now she's thinking she's a lamb, frolicking with them in a very that's very unlike piglets. Sorry,
You lost it at the end.
I did
didn't
listen.
You?
It was going
You're
well.
reading
as well,
it
wasn't
off a screen. And you thought I'm gonna improv this. I don't need this. I'm just gonna ad lib it. What would a Cantref farmer be like?
She would have died if I'd not decided to bottle feed her with the lambs. Now she thinks she's a lamb, frolicking with them in a very unpig-like way.
That's okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Can I say the first line?
Can I just say right now, my wife's half Welsh and she approves of this. So,
Yeah. We're Welsh approved. She was the smallest of the litter of 9 and was being bullied by the rest and deprived of her mother's milk. See, I just needed to take two. That was all it was. Without a 16 stone Brummie
I wish
breathing down the back of
I
my.
wish I was 16 stone, my friend.
Okay.
I'm not going to disclose the figure on air, but let's say you're being very complimentary towards me.
Listen, we're running away from the real story
There's,
here.
there's a lot of emotion in here, and I think we've destroyed it with our terrible accents.
The rare.
Go on, have a go at saying that.
The rare.
Kune, new word, Kune. Pronounce that however you like.
The new. The new. Cunny.
That's too. All right, the words are basically Kune, new word Kune, and in parenthesis, round and fat. So the round and fat pig can now be seen happily climbing on the backs of other. Hang on a second. Happily climbing on the backs of other lambs. Now, I don't. My animal. You ever been down on the farm when the two horses are giving each other a piggyback?
Oh.
Yes.
When they're giving each other a piggyback in that very special way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So happily climbing on the backs of other lambs, and also sleeps in their pen. End of story.
That's it. That's the end of that. I mean,
no, that took me on a roller coaster. There, it started off quite. I was intrigued. My heart was breaking. She was in danger of dying. So Gwen Evans of Cantrell Farm moved her into a field with lambs. And what does this pig do? Could start just boffing lambs.
Like 10 weeks old.
I mean, admittedly, it's got an identity crisis, but it's taken it a bit too far.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Iggle Piggle, I liked you to begin with, but by the time we got to the end of that story, I thought you were a bit of a tit.
Okay.
So what's next?
Okay. This is. I mean, again, there are loads of links here.
Oh, I've just seen the headline of this, and this is much more up my street.
That I'm having to.
Can I just kind of
waver behind?
I need to do this headline. Right. You turn on the news. You switch over.
No, hang on a second. It's bum bum dum 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 dum.
Welcome to the news.
3:05.
My name's Jack. Today's headlines. Police officer stops high-speed pursuit to save family of ducks.
Boom.
Oh well, that was. I feel we may have lost a bit of power in that one. A police officer stops a high-speed pursuit to save a family of ducks. Oh, we've got to put the links in.
Yeah, we will.
It's actually there's a YouTube video, and I want to watch it right now, but it's not going to be fun for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is get on that.
The mother of the two ducklings were in danger of being run over by a member of the Portland law enforcement. Got out of his car to help them. Have I misread that, or is that exactly as it said? I missed a when.
Oh.
The mother of the two ducklings were in danger of being run over when a member of the Portland law enforcement got out of his car to help them.
US traffic officer Mark James, who filmed the events on his dashboard camera, had been chasing a vehicle that was going 20 miles an hour.
That's the bit of the story for me. The first sentence I can live with. It's heartwarming, right? A police officer got out of his car.
You just interrupted me to make it sound really unimpressive.
No, listen.
Chasing a vehicle that was going 20 miles an hour.
No, that's not what's unimpressive, but I think the first sentence on its own, right? He got out to help ducklings off the street. Fine. Perfectly happy with that if there was nothing else he needed to do. It's only when the plot thickens and it turns out that the US traffic officer was chasing a vehicle going 20 miles over the speed limit.
See, no, you didn't let me say over the speed limit. Everybody thought that this car was going
20
miles an hour. And they're like, well, that's nothing. So yeah, it was 20 miles an hour over the speed limit.
And he stopped to get ducks off the road rather than chase down the car in question. I just cannot.
Have you not seen ducks? Look, right. Jess knew this the day she met me. I like cows, but ducks are my favourite animal.
Okay.
I love ducks. All right. I was walking into Bath the other day. There were 4 ducks stood outside the Guildhall, looking really confused. I tried to pick one of them up to take it to the river, and it flew away. I love ducks. All right. This guy is a hero. There's a whole family. That generation of ducks could have been wiped out.
The footage showed the speeding car being clocked in at 52 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour zone before the officer gave then what? Before the officer then gave
Would
chase.
you like me to read a few?
No, I'm
No? Okay.
on this. It's dealing with your kind of I love ducks, he did the right thing, and my kind of he let somebody speeding over 20 miles of the speed limit away to help
Oh,
ducks.
please. I defy you to find anyone who would rather that 52 mile an hour hardened criminal was brought to justice at the expense of the lives of not one duck, a family, generations of ducks.
A mother and two ducklings. But the policeman's pursuit was cut short when he encountered the animals, and rather than just drive around them, he got off and made sure they got to safety. You've got one
I
applause.
stand up for that man. I do. Not literally, I'm comfortable. But that's brilliant. That is honestly, I can't get my head around anyone could possibly see that as anything but the most beautiful thing ever. Look, YouTube user Red Horse M, big shout out to Red Horse M there. Impressed, other YouTubers are available. Was impressed with the cops' actions.
Not naming the Aim Low Productions has its own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there.
aimlow.youtube/production, something like that. The link's below.
Okay, yes.
YouTube user Red Horse M was impressed with the cops' actions. He wrote, "You are one cool police officer, one of them good old boys, not many left." Now, you see, it's a good job you didn't read that, because his grammar really is terrible, and I'm going to trip you up on every word. What's that? Good old boys. O-L-E. Good old boys. One of them good old boys. What does that even mean?
Like Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, well, that's not
They
really...
were the good old boys.
Oh.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba.
If you tuned in for this accent special...
In fact, I think it was the Dukes of Hazzard that got away. It was the General Lee going at 52 miles an hour.
Oh, there's more comments by more prolific YouTubers. Carlos Lozano was... Do you want to do the accent? No. Was also moved by what the officer had done and added, "Officer Mark James for me. You're a hero. My sincere congratulations. You did the right thing."
Am I on my own in this one? Do I live in a world where ducks are more? The problem is, I've been brought up on too much Batman. We discussed this on a previous episode. Links below. And do you know what I mean? In my eyes, that guy, justice needed to be done, and justice couldn't be done.
If I can draw your attention to the last 6 words of the article, the speeding driver was not caught.
And that pains me to my soul. I feel that if I could get to that driver, I could somehow deal with all of my past traumas that I'm... Anyway.
See, a policeman, right, is just a man. He could stop and help those ducks. But a symbol, that's what that's what this city needs.
Yeah. The next story I'd like to show you.
So that one kind of caused...
This is the
seriously, for this one, links above, links below. I will project the link directly to your eye just to have a look at this genius man.
Burglar snared after leaving fingerprints. You're gonna have to say it. I'm giggling too much.
Dun dun dun.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. If you do the music now, and I'll kind of.
Dun dun dun.
Hello, I'm Michael Burke. This evening, burglar snares after leaving fingerprints on a box of Jaffa cakes.
In case you missed that over the bumbling.
A burglar learned never to stop off for a snack at a house you are stealing from, after being identified via fingerprints found on a packet of Jaffa cake.
I have issues with this one.
What's that?
A burglar learns never to stop off for a snack at the house you're stealing from. Well, you're not going to learn that, Learning by doing, my friend. There's no course that says don't snack. Alright, my biggest problem with this, via fingerprints found on a packet of Jaffa cakes. How effing tenuous is that? How many people handled those Jaffa cakes before... Imagine, do you reckon you pick them up from the shelf and they're kind of hermetically sealed and wiped absolutely clean? You've got the shopkeeper, you've got the supplier, you've got everyone who works in that shop, anyone else who may have picked up the Jaffa cakes before him. I mean, look at the photo of the guy. He doesn't look smart enough to have any kind of defence other than... So they probably said, we found your fingerprints on a box of Jaffa. If I was that guy and someone came up to me, said, "We found your fingerprints on a tin of beans in a house that's been burgled," I would say, piss off. How is that for a
Well, can I tell you what the 19-year-old said?
Please do.
He pleaded guilty on two separate charges of burglary and aggravated burglary. What's the difference between burglary and aggravated burglary?
Well, the first one is burglary, and the second one's when you're kind of aggrieved. Like, oh, it's burglary. It's a bit more like that's the only thing I think of. If you imagine DMX robbing a house.
Which was taken into account during his sentence. He received 7.5 years in prison.
No.
Because what? Because he was not only
7.5 years.
was jailed in part because his DNA was discovered after he stopped to eat some biscuits. So they found his DNA and some pasta.
Pasta? Actually, I take it all back. If you're going to stop and cook pasta...
Did he cook it though? That's the thing. Did he stop, boil water, chuck it in, get some pasta? Do you know what I mean? Like... Jaffa cakes in one hand, tomato sauce in the other. Just really going to town.
I like to think, when you come home, you're like, it smells of basil and tomatoes. Oh my god, where's the telly?
It's funny you should say telly, because he managed to escape from the house in Birmingham with 3 televisions. Where's the tellies? But he never got a chance to enjoy his booty as he was stopped nearby after being fingered by neighbours.
Grow up. Come on, grow up.
I'm not the one that laughed like that. The young thief had tried to deny his involvement in the robbery, but was snared after his middle fingerprint was picked up on the confectionery box. The teenager burgled the house of an elderly couple who had lost irreplaceable items and were deeply upset.
Oh, leave the emotional part till right at the end, so you read the whole thing, having a good old giggle, and then you get to the end, it's like, guy, come on, there's human lives here.
There were some old people and they lost some stuff.
I'm not sure. So I don't know which one I preferred for. I mean, I'm trying to think back over it all, and it's like someone's just beaten me with images and words. So you've got the pig that thinks it's a lamb, and is basically on suspicion of mounting the lambs. The hero who saved a family of ducks instead of pursuing what was possibly a minor infringement of the law, causing no danger to anyone but himself because the road was a bloody tree-lined country lane.
Okay.
Or Mr. Spectacular, or Kid Glamorous there, who got done for eating Jaffa cakes, which is bad, but pasta, which is stupid. At a house he was... But I mean, it's in Birmingham. I'm from Birmingham originally. I'm not going to pass judgment. Brummies are lovely folk. I still hold on to bits of my accent, but pasta. I mean, come on. Do you reckon he made a sauce as well? Did he grate cheese? Did he pop to Waitrose to get the finest Parmigiano Reggiano to put on the top of it?
Spotting someone who's...
Did he use pesto?
Oh, I don't like pesto. I hope he didn't.
Whoa. All right.
Anyway,
well, that's a debate for a later channel.
Yeah. So that's the news. Bum. What you can't see is that looks really funny.
I know. I'm shuffling papers now and pretending blah blah blah. Talking to the person next to me. Blah,
I want
blah,
to punch you in the ovaries. Obscure reference there. Yeah.
Yeah. Sequel coming out. End of the year.
Speaking of movie news, moving swiftly on.
I like it. We segued from one to the other there. That was seamless. That was beautiful.
More podcasts are available for more less seamless segues.
Check links below.
Yeah, exactly. I went to see Iron Man 3.
Excellent.
Very recently. And I've got a reaction video, which you haven't seen yet. So you're kind of free of my first reaction.
Sorry, just drinking tea.
And yeah, do you know what? I did like it, but I did have some issues with it. I did have quite a few issues with it. And I think that's because I love the first one. The first one is one of my favourite kind of superhero films of all time. I think it's brilliant. The kind of reinvention of the character, that way it was sort of quite grounded in technology. And I think it left me a little bit wanting because it was the first of the Phase 2 movies. So despite the fact that I really enjoyed it, I think Marvel had set a standard that I don't think they quite lived up to, in my opinion, but I still thought it was a thoroughly enjoyable film. So why are you pulling that ridiculous face?
I'm not crazy about Iron Man.
Why is that?
I like Tony Stark is a douchebag.
Yeah.
I like the first film because he's a lovable douchebag. and then he kind of goes from lovable douchebag to war criminal. And
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to
I
watch
don't. I
Iron
don't.
Man 3 because have you ever seen the film? It's like Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes,
Really?
yes. Not
Why?
not because someone who I may have uh been.
I won't. I know where you're going with
Yeah,
this.
I think we all know
You saw it with
this.
a girl.
Yes.
Brilliant.
I bitched and moaned through it.
Then you're going to love this next part of the
Okay.
conversation. I watched Eat, Pray, Love. I thought it was terrible, and do you know why? No conflict whatsoever. It is a film about a rich white woman getting everything she wants. She's a little bit depressed at the start, so she goes on holiday to 3 beautiful places, meets some lovely people. The end. And I hated it because it was like it was watching someone else's holiday snaps. That's what Iron Man has turned into for me. I am Tony Stark. Not only am I a billionaire playboy, I have a cool metal suit, fairly indestructible. What's his biggest problem is a few technical hitches.
I see. Understand where you're coming from, and I really love it. But I think you may have hit the nail on the head in that there wasn't. I don't know. I mean, I did ultimately enjoy it, but there were a lot of problems. Like the side characters that I'd got to know and like. But I think Pepper Potts is a really good character, but didn't seem to do very much, and I'm not sure why that was. I really like Don Cheadle as War Machine or Iron Patriot as he is in this one, but again, didn't really feel he got to do much. It's incredibly well written. It's incredibly cool, but it's definitely it definitely had some issues that I wasn't crazy about, but I mean, it was okay. I really liked the first one. I mean, I completely understand what you're saying about the no
Mm.
contract, but I love the first. I think the first one's
The
brilliant.
first one's good, but the more I think about it, the less I'm starting to like the Iron Man franchise.
Well, they're not sure if Tony Stark. They're not sure if Robert Downey Jr. is going to come back as Iron Man again.
I don't think you should. I mean, the Avengers was, it was brilliant.
Mm.
It was. You just all right. Let's look at the Avengers. So you got like Captain America, who's been yanked from his own era,
Fish out of
dropped
water,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, fish out of water. It's good. Thor from another universe. He's constant conflict with his brother. Proper family. It's all falling apart. The Hulk? Horrible. Genetic problems. Has to stay
And Mark Ruffalo
angry
was
or
amazing as the Hulk. I love Mark Ruffalo.
well, oh, yeah, okay, you put your flowers away, but I know what you mean. He's brilliant as a whole, but as a character, there's a lot of pain there. What's Tony Stark's biggest problem? I've got too much money and I've got a bloody virus on my suit or
But the
something.
thing is, that's why I think the first one is brilliant because it deals with that, and I think it does. You do come up against well to a certain extent. The second one deals with that, whereas I think the third one tries to deal with that. But it just left me a little bit lacking. But I think as something to kind of fill the gap between as a if I was to sum it up, I would say that you've got 4 episodes. You've got all these episodes of a TV show I really love about all these group of heroes, and this is a TV episode I've seen, but isn't my favourite by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, okay,
But
yeah.
does a good job at kind of getting me through the series. It hasn't lost me, but at the same time, it's just not my favourite episode, and it's not my favourite story that they've chosen to tell. But there are lots of things I really like about it, and I think because there are so many things I really like about it, it's kind of a shame that it didn't deliver on everything. But do you know what I mean? At least somebody went out there and made the film they kind of wanted to make, and it did feel like that the new kind of head of the project. I can't remember his name. Is it I can't. It's something Black.
Jack Black.
Short. No. Anyway, he wrote the Lethal Weapon series and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang
I couldn't
with
even
Robert
tell
Downey
you.
Jr. But no, I did really. I don't like. I really enjoyed it. It's just I think they've set such a high standard with the films. The first of the Phase Two movies. It didn't
When you
really.
say Phase 2, you mean like post Avengers?
Yeah, didn't
Yeah.
really hit the ground running with me. But at the same time, I enjoyed it enough that I want to see anything else that sort of happens.
I don't. I think for me, Iron Man 1 was okay because something bad actually happened to him, as in he got hit by a missile, which is good. I like Tony Stark getting hit by a missile, ticks my box. 2, I just didn't like because he's still rich and drives fast cars. I don't want to watch Iron Man 3. I will watch your reaction video to get just so I'll have something to disagree with
Yeah.
quite strongly, and I can post my comments saying how this is all horse crap and
Awesome.
nothing.
So you'll know where all our negative comments come from.
Yep, exactly. I will be that troll who tears apart that video. But actually, talking about movies, if we leave aside the kind of the mediocre, What about this news? The new Star Wars films, J.J. Abrams directed and been shot in the UK.
Yep, I heard about that. It's really
Big
cool.
celebration arms. Everything's good. I think you know what. I've got faith.
Yep, me
I've
too.
got faith. I've got a lot of faith in this episode. I don't want to take it down the path of big fanboys. This is better than that. This is better than that. But I just really, really want some good new Star Wars films for my child, for the kids.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you're basically still a kid compared to me, so you can't really lay any claim to enjoying Star Wars. And
Why can't I lay anything?
because you're too young.
I saw every episode of Star Wars at the cinema.
Did you?
Yep.
What, when you were a fetus?
When the cinema that I used to live near when I was growing up showed old movies, so I got to saw loads of old films.
Oh, you didn't see them when they were in the cinema the original time.
I did see the not like
Not
in
the first
not
time.
in the 70s.
Well,
but
yeah,
neither
so
did you. Did you see it in the cinema? Yeah,
Close
sorry,
to the 70s you'll ever be.
27-year-old. Just because you're closer to it doesn't. Right. So while I beat the shit out of Jack, thank you for tuning in.
I was trying to make a valid point, and you just turn it all into you're ageist.
I tell you what we're going to throw up a recommendation to.
Throw up being the operative word.
That we're gonna is an excellent documentary that I can't remember the guy who made it, but it's called "The People versus George Lucas," and it's a fantastic look at everything that's happened to Star Wars since it's come out, the relationship between Star Wars and its fans, and also the kind of the constant battle between the fans and George Lucas on all of his well-loved projects.
And what I'm going to throw up, for want of a better phrase, I'm going to pop a link below this for an album called Far, Far Away, which is a beautiful, beautiful fan-made project. These guys have taken samples of the Star Wars films and turned it into some amazing songs. The album is free if you're a tight ass, but you can make a contribution to the artists, and check it out, listen to it, love it, and throw a few dollars their way because it is just beautiful Star Wars work.
Awesome. That's all we got time for today.
Highlights of the day for me, it's got to be the police officer saving the ducks.
Yeah.
That's going to keep me warm tonight.
For me, it's getting a chance to recommend those two Star Wars things. Actually, that's really cool. I love both of those.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to share them with the selective audience at the moment we have.
And screw Iggle Piggle. That pig is shit to me.
So yeah, thank you very much. Feel free to check out the links below for all of our other stuff. You can follow us on Twitter at AimLowPro. You can find us on YouTube as well, and feel free to explore the rest of aimlowsproductions.weebly.com and check out any other episodes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Bye bye.